Greece is beefing up its military presence on the Turkish border. That's after Turkey carried out military drills in the Turkish-controlled northern Cyprus. The two nations have been in a row over natural gas exploration in the sea's disputed waters, with increasing concerns about a potential military conflict between those two NATO allies. Turkey sent a hydrocarbon research vessel with a naval escort into Greek territorial waters last month, and Greece responded with a naval exercise to defend its territory. Well, French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian said Turkey could face EU sanctions over the conflict and urged Erdogan to begin talks over its Eastern Mediterranean ambitions between now and the next European Council meeting later this month. Let's bring in our Middle East correspondent, Emily Rose. She joins me in Tel Aviv. Emily, we've heard the UN specifically again and again warning the Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan against making moves, whether in Syria or in Cyprus and in Turkey. It doesn't seem like the president is heeding any of those calls. And from the situation, the way it's looking now, it seems Erdogan won't back down on this issue either.
No, it doesn't seem so. It looks as though Erdogan is also shoring up his naval support to try to give Greece a kind of run for its money in terms of being the strongest naval power in the area. And if we look at Turkey's actions very recently, even in Libya, we can see that it's looking to expand that territory and that presence, specifically as it pertains to the exploration for natural gas in the Mediterranean, and showing that it's trying to support the northern part of Cyprus. Because if we remember, that island is really kind of divided into two. The southern part has Greek support as well as UN-backed support and recognition, but the northern part is backed by Turkey. And Turkey says that its mandate is to try to keep that northern part afloat and support it for its part. So what we could see here, what we're already seeing, is a kind of clash between Greek interests and Turkish interests, both in those waters and as it plays out as a microcosm on that island, that contested island, Cyprus.
Emily, the EU today threatening, and not in so many words, but that they will impose sanctions on Turkey if it in fact continues on in this path. What would sanctions on Turkey look like, especially, Emily, because we know the economy in Turkey is suffering regardless of the coronavirus pandemic, but all the more so in recent months?
Yeah, so it's a bit complicated. The EU saying that it's going to slap sanctions on Turkey, and we have to remember here that Turkey and Greece are also NATO allies. So it's not exactly clear what, if any, part those sanctions would look like. It's likely just a little bit more of the wordplay and the rhetoric that is trying to be used to try to push Turkey back. Likely Turkey, though, will, if we see a response, the response will be more to try to change the actual facts on the ground, as we've been seeing it trying to do, try to bolster its military support there, as you mentioned, sending drones to surveil the exploration of natural gas and to try to cut deals with other players in the region so that it can try to expand, again, its influence and its power over the area, the naval area, the sea area, and in the areas that could be seen for the future of exploration of natural gas.
Emily, for months, Turkey was pushing its bid to become an EU member, much like Greece, which is now it's in conflict with. But the EU said several times, not so fast. It seems unlikely that after all these events and actions that are considered aggressive by Western nations, that Turkey will anytime soon see itself becoming an EU member.
Yes, this is always a discussion for Turkey and also the other regional players. I mean, we saw them shore up not too long ago. Greece made a deal with the backing of Egypt. Also, Israel was involved to keep its control and try to build a pipeline of natural gas that would funnel gas out of that area. And Turkey has always been in this contested kind of middle ground because it really wants to exert its influence there, but it doesn't, as you mentioned, want to brush up against these European players. Just to give you an indication, though, Turkey really needs to pull away from its import on natural gas. 90% of its natural gas is imported, so it's really looking to shore up its financial support, to bring more financial support, 3.5 trillion cubic meters of natural gas exploration. That's the estimate that is held in that area. It's not a small feat. That could probably power the United States for just over a decade. So it's not a coincidence that this is being contested by a lot of regional players and being fought over by a lot of regional players. Turkey really finds itself in between a rock and a hard place. It wants to play diplomacy with these European players, which have decided to work together. But on the other hand, it's brushing feathers because it really does need to shore up and bring more economic support. As you mentioned, it's also facing its own economic crisis internally. So likely what we're going to see more of are little actions, little military actions by Turkey to try to expand that influence, change the facts on the ground without actually seeing full-on confrontation with one of these European players.
And we're, of course, keeping our eye on those developments. Emily Rose, thank you very much for joining me for this.